Today I'm going to talk about something that is quite fundamental to photography, but yet not often thought about. Why we take pictures. It might sound like a very simple question, but it could be quite a deep and existential question to answer. But I think answering this question, or at least thinking about it, is quite important because it will lead us to understand ourselves better as creators. It will help us understand our own deep-seated motivations, to understand what drives us from inside. And that is always rewarding, that is fantastic, that will help us become better creators. I asked this question to a few people that I know, few photographers, and the most frequent answer that I got from them, they all said that they take pictures or they make pictures because pictures are beautiful. But I think the problem with that answer is that it leads you to think of photography or images or pictures or that creative work from the outside, to think of it from the outside. It talks about it in a very physical way. What you're led to think about, what you're led to obsess about, are the physical aspects of an image. The light and the shadow, the colors, the structures, the shape, beautiful people that you take pictures of, beautiful landscape, the wildlife, the nature, gorgeous monuments. But they're what you take pictures of. They're not why you take pictures. And I think it is important, like I said in the beginning, it is important for us to know why we take pictures. You see, when I thought about it, I realized that I don't click or shoot or make pictures, but I keep them. I keep pictures, yes. What I mean by it, my realization is that I understand that our lives are fast. It's very difficult to keep pace with the modern life often. And we are in this high speed stream. We're sort of put in this and you're flowing with the stream. But at times when you think about it, you want to just stop for a moment and understand what's happening with you. Often you don't get an answer because you haven't thought about it, because you haven't spent enough time understanding what has happened to you or what is happening to you. And I think pictures allow me to stop a moment for me to go back to it and understand it better. It allows me another chance to relook at my own life and therefore unfold my life in front of me. Therefore, I think pictures are personal for me. Uh, as long as they're personal, I think they're going to be good. And therefore, I think what I'm trying to underscore here is that moving away or not always obsessing about the aesthetic aspect of picture of photography is quite healthy, because it is not always about the perfect symmetrical or composition. It's not always about what makes something just look beautiful. I think it is finally about what makes pictures meaningful. Pictures give me that opportunity. Let me show you a picture. This is a picture of my mom, and let me stay on it for some time. I get to see her once or twice in a year when I go back home after 6 or 8 months. And the last time I went home was in 2020 January. That was about 7-8 months back. You're not really part of their lives when you're staying away, right? So when I go back home, I get that opportunity to be a part of their life and really understand what has been going on with them. So when I went home this time, I had a little bit of time to spend with my mom. And it was a Sunday afternoon after lunch. It was winter. My mom was lying down on the bed, and we're just having very casual conversation. I was looking at the laptop. She was asking me small questions, almost like small talk. But I was not really mindful about my mom's the conversation of my mom. But at that moment, something happened. I took my camera out of my bag and came back and took a few pictures. And I took a few pictures, 3 or 4 of them. At that moment, I did not really fully understand why I took that picture. I had no idea. I just felt that urge. Now, when I look back at it, at this picture, after about 7 months, I am beginning to understand why I felt like that. You see, at that moment, I really got to know how my mom was. That moment was our long "how are you?" I really asked that question to my mom. My mom really asked that question to me. and you answered each other in with our presence. It's very difficult to understand because it's personal, and that's the beauty of it. I think our best photographs, our best creative work is personal. And unless it is personal, it is not powerful. What is personal can be very broad. A personal does not only mean your parents or your family or your friends. Personal can be anything in the world. Whatever you make personal becomes your personal story. This year has been a tough year. There was a 2-month lockdown in India after the pandemic started. So many people who are migrant laborers, poor wage earners who are stuck in the big cities. They didn't have any jobs, they didn't have money, they didn't have food. All they wanted to do when the lockdown was imposed, they wanted to go back to their homes, to their villages, but they could not. Many of them are stranded in these cities without work, without food or without money and basic necessities. I went out in one of these days and on one of these days and met such a family. And when I met them, I heard their stories, and it was no longer a story on the newspapers. It was suddenly, all of it suddenly became very personal. It became immediate. It became alive to me, and I was impacted by it. And of course, I took pictures of them. But I think suddenly that moment became personal to me, and I was motivated again to take a picture of it, because I know in future I'm going to look back at that moment again and understand myself better. At least those pictures are going to give me another opportunity to understand my life, to understand myself. Was I just being generous because I'm kind, or was I trying to just look good to people? Was it some obligation? I mean, whatever the reason could be many, but I don't think we fully totally understand ourselves, and therefore we need enough opportunities again and again to understand ourselves better. And the moment I think we understand our motivations, our deep-seated drivers better, we'll become better photographers and better creators. So that's my reason. What's yours? Whatever your reasons are, I think you need to spend time on finding it out. So why don't you share your reasons in the comments below? And please like and subscribe, because it's a new channel, and when you subscribe and like and share this, we know that there are people who are watching it who are interested in this content, so that you feel encouraged to come back to you again. There are a few very interesting stuff that's lined up. There's going to be some conversation on what camera to buy for beginners, or what settings and all the lenses, and why kit lenses are great. So a lot of stuff are in the pipeline, but do subscribe, and please also click on the bell icon, because then you'll be notified. It's important that you guys watch us, right? So yeah, please. Thank you. Thanks a lot. See you soon.